You don't have to agree with me, I don't care. But if you're just an outright a-hole, I have hidden those people from the channel throughout the years. I've hidden several hundred people. How's it going? I'm Kyle with Dirt Bike Channel, and I wanted to show you this build that we did this month and show you some of the things, or talk about some of the things that I learned while doing this build. By the way, you still have time to get entered to win this thing, and before the end of the month, I'm doubling all entries to win this bike. If you go to my website, dirtbikechannel.com, you can either buy something that I've got over there, like a wash brush or a shirt or something like that, or a part straight, or you can use my affiliate links to Rocky Mountain ATV, and that gets you entered. Every dollar is one entry, and during the last few days of the month, we're doubling all those entries automatically. So anyway, let's jump into the video. So I'm gonna break this video up into sections, and the first section I thought about is it's gonna take more money than you thought when you're doing any sort of a custom build. We dumped a lot of money into the suspension, and that's a place that you can really kind of blow out your budget when you're doing a build like this. I do think suspension is probably the best place to put any sort of money, especially for most people if you're going to do some sort of a custom build, because suspension is where you can get a lot of gains for the types of riding that you're doing. Maybe you're doing motocross and need a certain type of thing. Maybe you're doing enduro stuff and maybe you need a totally different setup. And that's what happened here. We went with more of an enduro setup on this bike, but it's also just like a pro level setup, and it's actually valved really amazingly. And then we did a lot of cool things on the suspension with lower fork tubes and different things. And so you can dump a lot of money into that. And it was just like, we kept saying, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? Why don't we do this? And the cost of that can add up really quick when you're doing suspension stuff. Another place the cost added up for me was in about $1,500 worth of brake upgrades. See, this bike came with the brake tech stuff on it, and I haven't ever really had much of a problem with the rear side of the brake tech stuff, but I haven't loved the front of the brake techs. So this is the brake tech caliper and the brake tech master cylinder, which is down here, which should normally be up here on the handlebars. See, there was a recall on this bike, on basically a lot of different bikes that had brake tech brake systems where these things were failing, and so they were saying, well, you can go into the dealer and have it looked at and possibly repaired. I just decided to go ahead and upgrade the entire system to Brembo on this bike, and that cost about $1,500 to do all the parts, so that it's OEM Brembo stuff, which added a pretty penny to this build, and that's an easy way to, and I didn't even know, because I've never changed brakes before. I've never like done a full brake swap, so that was an easy way to kind of blow your budget. There's always more that you can do. I mean, I did bar ends and just some littler things, but there's always a ton more that you can do. You can put on a million pieces of protection parts. You can put on a million pieces of bling parts, and it's just like you don't know where to stop. So on this one, I'm like, we did a few things extra on top of the suspension and on top of the brakes and stuff, but I didn't go overboard because it's so easy to just kind of get nickel dime in disc guards and protection and that, and this piece and that piece, and maybe an extra. Like in the past, I've put so much money into some of these bikes where I had like multiple ways to start the bike and all these different things and back up this and back up that. And so it's easy to kind of just really get lost in the weeds on some of the additional stuff you can do to them and blow your budget that way. Here's another thing that I learned, and I'm just gonna say and this is just a big thing that I learned on this bike in particular. There's a big difference between the casted aluminum triple clamps that you can buy on some of these bikes, or the CNC milled or billet aluminum triple clamps. This bike, it's the GasGas. Funny that the GP edition did not come with like the milled aluminum triple clamps. It came with the cast or forged triple clamps. And normally I haven't had a problem with those, but these ones are really tight. I had to take the suspension apart a couple different times just from different things that we were doing, and those are very snug. They're very tight. And so it's hard to kind of like, it'd be hard to adjust your levels as far as if you were adjusting, up and down how much how high your forks are set in the triple clamps, and then to get everything leveled out and stuff. They're so tight on this particular set that I'm like, oh dang, there is a real nice reason to have some nice triple clamps. Now, it's kind of like the only bike I've seen that on, and so I just wanted to bring that to you, is that the CNC milled triple clamps probably have tighter tolerances and are usually nicer than what these billet triple clamps, these milled, these are not milled. The billet ones are the good ones. These are just the forged aluminum triple clamps. And now I'm gonna pay attention to that because these were the first ones where I was like, oh dang, I'm doing, and that would have been another crazy cost to upgrade the triple clamps. And I was like, if I hadn't have done the brakes, I might have done the triple clamps as well, but on this one, just something else. Those triple clamps are really tight. And that, the bike's gonna be amazing and it's gonna handle amazing, but like working on it and taking the forks in and out, they're not always created equal. Hey, you know what you need to do? You need to go to my website right now and get entered to win that bike because I'm giving this sucker away. There's only a couple more days left and I'm gonna double all the entries on all the orders that are placed here in the last few days of the sweepstakes. So use my links to Rocky Mountain ATV to buy anything they sell, or buy a shirt at my website, buy a parts tray, buy a wash brush, whatever I got over there, and it's automatic entry to win that bike. But you've only got until the end of the month to do this, so you better get on it. Okay, let's get back to the video. The third and final thing, which I have multiple points on, is that it'll always take longer than you thought to do the build. Evidence, in fact, by I still don't have the skid plate that I ordered for this thing. Now, I ordered the best skid plate that I can possibly buy for this thing, and I probably ordered it a little bit late, but also it's been taking, the lead time has taken a lot to get it for this bike. And I think it's gonna be here today, but I've been waiting for it, and it's now like 2 o'clock, almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I still don't have it. And so I was like, I'm under a deadline, I'm gonna shoot this video, even before the skid plate is on. And so things can take a long time. And it's kind of funny because there have been a lot of things on this bike that I shot footage of that I shot it before I was really ready to shoot it. Like I did a whole photo shoot of this bike out in the desert, and it was before I knew I needed to replace the brakes, but I didn't have time to wait for that. And so I shot like longer back shots so that you couldn't really see the brakes as much. And I purposely kept the brakes out of like some of the closer up shots because I was like, I don't want to misinterpret it or just call. Anyway, but that was a struggle. So like things can take a long time, like between lead times on skid plates and lead times on brakes and things like that. Some of this stuff can take a while when you're doing a build. The suspension took a long time to get right. I used Moto Experts in Spanish Fork, Utah. Those guys are absolutely amazing. I know the owner. I know those guys. They do really, really good work. But if you're gonna do that, it's gonna take some time. You're gonna need to take the suspension off the bike, transport it to the shop, or maybe even ship it to them or whatever, and then leave it with them for a week or so, or a couple weeks, depending on what their lead times are. And then you get it back, and then you gotta install it. It's a whole process, and that can take time to get right. And then if you need to go out and get, like, revalve the thing afterwards, which I'm not doing here because I'm not even riding this bike, then that's another set of time that it can take to kind of get the bike right. Like you go ride the bike and say, hey, I want it a little bit softer, I want a little bit of hold up here or whatever. That follow-up, that can take a long time. So suspension is something that can take time. Another weird thing that took some extra time is like I found out that when I'm swapping the handguards, they came with these black handguards, but the mounts on the inside of these handguards that hold the thing together are different between BrakeTech and Brembo. The holes are not the BrakeTech and the Brembo are not the exact same. Like the master cylinder right here, these things aren't the same, like to bolt up. And so I had to like go find some older KTM handguards that work with Brembo, at least on this side, and steal this back plastic part and then bolt it up to the black handguard here. So I had to Frankenstein one of them, but not the other one because this was still a BrakeTech side on the clutch, whereas this side over here on the brake, which I swapped over to Brembo, I needed to find some parts and kind of do that thing. So it's funny, like just little things, and there was other things too that I didn't think of. Like I tore the suspension part so many times and it was like, oh, I had this off and I had this off. And then I'm like, pipe off and silencer off. And then I put pipe and silencer back on, but then I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot this. And then I have to tear it all back apart. So there's a lot of things that you're just kind of taking apart and apart and apart doing something like this where I don't know. I don't look forward ahead enough. I like put something on and then put all the bike back together and I'm like, oh, I need to do this other thing. Then I have to take the bike back apart. I wasted a lot of time doing that kind of stuff. And I guess I lied. There was one other thing I wanted to say. With a build like this, there's always going to be a ton of criticism. At least anything you do online, if you're going to do some sort of a special build or just some sort of a project and you put it online, there's going to be people coming out of the woodworks to complain about it and to show you what you did wrong and to tell you that you're like even cutting zip ties wrong or something like this. There's a lot of things that people will nitpick. And so over the years, and you wouldn't believe the amount of stuff that I've been nitpicked on. And look, I've never said I was perfect. I never once said on this channel, I'm making the perfect bike or I'm a good rider. I just say, hey, here's some things that I've learned. But it's amazing how much people will nitpick you and complain. Oh, you just made our sport look too expensive. They'll say like, oh, you took a bike that's already $12,000 and then you put whatever into it, or 10,000 bucks, now it's a $15,000 bike. You're making our sport look too expensive. Or, oh, you spent too much on the expensive, or you spent too much on their suspension. It's this, it's that. Oh, now you made the bike uglier. Oh, now you made the bike harder to ride. Oh, now everybody's gonna think that they have to replace their brakes. And oh, now everybody's gonna do this. And it's one of the reasons why I very seldom now even review like quote upgrades to bikes, is because, or like aftermarket parts, because a lot of times these aftermarket parts just make the bike more expensive. They don't make it better. And it's just, you have to kind of balance that. If you're going to do a build online or something like that, you have to balance, or just put any content out online. You have to balance how much pushback you're going to get. And I know I don't read the comments. Like I learned a long time ago, it's very rare that I read the comments, but every once in a while I'll accidentally read something, or I'll have somebody screenshot it and send it to me in email. By the way, if you want to complain to me, the best way you can do it is just hit me up on email. Like I do read all my emails. It's Kyle@dirtbikechannel.com. And if you want a surefire way to like chew me out, you can do so in email, because I do read all those. I don't read DMs on Facebook or Instagram and I almost never read comments on YouTube. Every once in a while, I'll go in there and I'll just look for somebody being an a-hole. Like, you don't have to agree with me. I don't care. But if you're just an outright a-hole, I have hidden those people from the channel throughout the years. I've hidden several hundred people through the years. But yeah, it's like everyone wants to let their opinion be known and tell you how bad you screwed up if you're going to do a project like this. And this has been no exception. So people have complained on a lot of things that we've done on this bike, but it is what it is. And I'm giving it away. And I don't know if the sweepstakes makes enough money to do another one. The sweepstakes numbers have been down so far, but hey, the economy's kind of taking it. Like the Dow Jones has been down, the NASDAQ has been down. Everybody's afraid of tariffs. So it's a big word that's been going around, and it's kind of thrown the economy into a loop. And so it's like, yeah, and here I am. So anyway, but this bike is going to be given away. We only have a couple more days on this sweepstakes. You have it until the end of March to enter to win this sucker. It's an amazing bike. It is literally a one-of-a-kind bike. And I'm proud of how it has turned out. And it will have a skid plate on it. The skid plate is coming. It might be here today, it might be here tomorrow, but it'll have an SXS skid plate on there that will protect the linkage, and then the sucker's good to go. So this bike is a killer bike. Somebody's gonna love it. And we're gonna have like our 44th, or I don't even know, somewhere past 40, somewhere between 42 and 45 people have won dirt bikes from me. And there's gonna be another one with this one. So pretty cool bike, learned some stuff on this, and didn't get to ride this one, but that's okay. I've got a 250XC over there, and maybe the weather's turning a little bit better for us here in Utah, and we can do some riding here. But anyway, thanks so much for all your support, and until next time, leave a single track. Thanks.